All right, guys. Since the wind's blowing today and we can't go fishing offshore, and I need to service my Yamaha 115. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I bought a kit, and then with the kit it comes a fuel filter, inside fuel filter, 4 quarts of Yamaha engine oil, 10W30, an oil filter. It comes with some 4 spark plugs, lower gear unit, and it's got the plug for the oil plug, and it's got the little plugs that comes with it for the lower gear oil plugs. 4 spark plugs. So stay tuned for this, and I got 2 engines I got to do today, but I'm gonna go through one of y'all with just one motor with you guys. But oh, and I got a fuel separator I got to put in too. But stay tuned. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the lower gear oil. And the reason why I do this first is if water starts to come out of here, I stop what I'm doing and I take it to the shop, because it's more than what I want to tackle. And it may fall under a warranty depending on what kind of condition it is in there. Plus I got to do pressure tests and all, but you got 2 screws. You got the bottom screw, and then you got the top screw you got to take out. I take out the bottom first, and then I take out the top, because when you take out the top, it's going to come pouring out really fast. Basically all I'm going to do is take a screwdriver and a wrench. The wrench is going to fit right on here just like this. Top one. Like so. It was needed changing. It's pretty black, and you can smell it. So yeah, it needed changing. You got to remember the top screw is a little bigger. You got to remember that, and the bottom screw is a little narrow. And you want to look for like stuff on it, like metal and stuff. There might be some metal on it, which this one looks pretty good. It's just that oil is pretty burnt, so it needed changing. Alright, here's the gaskets they provide for the gear plug. Just have to go ahead and get them ready on there. Looked like they were okay, but since it comes with a kit, I always want to just go ahead and replace what you can. Go ahead and get those on there so you don't forget. And like I said, you can see there ain't no metal or nothing on there, so that's good. And because you got to have a matrix adapter for these Yamahas. You got this is metric. A lot of them are standard, so you got to have this. And the way it works is you just kind of put it Alright, you can see how it's coming out the hole there. Alright, so what I like to do is turn the prop just a couple of times. Make sure we get it all as much in there as we can. And then pump a little bit more. See how it's coming out? Alright, so just to make sure I can get as much in there as I can. And I do. I got all I can get in there. Now, I'm gonna put the top plug in first. This is the top plug. I'm gonna put it in first. You just want to snug it. There we go. Ready, because when you pull it out, you want to take it. Make sure you get it in there. And don't pump no more once you put that top plug in. The gear oil has been done. And now all you gotta do is just clean it up a little bit. Make sure you get all that oil off of there. You don't want to leave that oil on there going in the water. So we're done. Snug tight, new gasket and new gasket. Alright, this is where we gotta go through. This which is right through here. Where you check the oil at. The oil looks pretty good though. But we're gonna change it anyway because it's time to change it. Alright, while the oil is draining, while that oil is draining in there, and make sure you got a good oil draining too. It looks like it's going to take a while, but it'll pull out. While it's draining, we're going to go ahead and pull the plugs in the oil filter. But we're going to put the plugs in first. To get to the plugs, it's behind here. So you have to take this cowling off. It comes off, that just snaps off. In different places. And 4 plugs, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just be careful pulling them out. You want to pull on this part right here. You don't want to pull this. Pull this, and it just takes a little effort to get it out. Okay, see how that's white? The ends are white, that's good. If that had been black, we may have need to go get compression checked or something at the shop, or we can check compression ourselves, but because it's white, that's good. Now I'm gonna take the rest of these out. I'm gonna put some anti-seize on there so it's easier to take out next time. Just a little bit. Don't want to get a lot, just a little bit. That's all you need. Tighten it as far as you can with your hand, so not to cross thread it. Okay, snug them down. And put your plug wire back on. Okay, now I'm gonna do the rest. Pull the rest of these off and do the rest back in. Now we just have to put the cover back on, but before I do, I want to go ahead and pull the oil filter because our oil is pretty much done draining. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the oil filter. Before I do though, I'm gonna stick some rags in here because I don't want all this oil getting all over everything and going out in the water when we get out in the water. So let me do that. This is my oil wrench. Like if you see oil starting to come, if you're starting to see oil come from around there, you might want to stop and clean up your mess. That's up. It don't look like that. It looks like I got a little bit. See how I got a little bit there? So not too bad. So now I got to put the new one on. Now guys, Yamaha, they put a plastic thing on it, so it's already lubricated, but I like to put a, see how it's lubricated already? I like to go ahead and put a little extra oil on here. Just around the edges to help it seal. Should just spin on, hand tighten it. You don't want to put too much on it because I usually just hand tighten it. I will give it a little, just a little bit, maybe a quarter of a turn. That's it. That's it right there. Now we know it takes at least 3 quarts. So I'm gonna go ahead and put at least 3 quarts in it, and then I'm gonna check it. As you can see, it's a little low, probably about a, like it says, a half a quart low. So we're gonna go ahead and put the other half in there. Is while that's settling, is go ahead and change out this fuel filter right here, inline fuel filter that comes with the kit. First thing you want to do though is you want to unhook this little blue electrical thing, because you don't want to break that. That I've been told is pretty pricey, so you don't want to break that. So all right guys, see this is a clip, and what it is a sensor. When you get water in here, the water will oil will float, I mean the fuel will float and the water will build up, but once you get enough water in there, it'll cut off the motor or it'll send you an alarm. So you don't want to break that. And how you do it is, see if I can't do it with one hand, it just comes off, just clips off. So now I can take this off, and it just turns off. So now I like to pull it out first. This is what you're gonna change right here. That right there. Sometimes you may want to change out this O-ring right here. I didn't change it. I ain't gonna change it this time, but if you have a bad seal and your motor's not running right after your service, it could be that seal right there. Okay, this little O-ring right here, I just want to put a little bit of 2,4-C on it, just to lubricate it just a little bit, so it goes on good in there. It should catch in there like that, just like that. That's it. You got to put this back on. Make sure that O-ring's good. I might want to put a little bit of C4 on that too. Just a little, just a dab. Just to make sure it goes on there good. Go. And that's it. That's it. Put that back up. Now we have our new water, our fuel. That's also, that wire right there is your fuel water. So if you get water in your fuel, it will alarm the dash until you got water in it. So now, all right, now we got the plugs changed. We got the inline fuel filter changed. We got the lower gear oil changed. We got the engine oil change, and we got the filter change. And now one last thing I like to do before I close all this up is I like to put this Yamaha shield. It's a waterproof lubricant, and it also protects the wiring and stuff. Don't get it way up there where the belts are. Just kind of shoot down on it and just spray it down, and it does it protects the it'll protect just a little bit, and it will protect the wirings and all. It's waterproof. So now we move on to the inline fuel filters, which is water separators, and I'll show you that. And then all right guys, I want to show you where these fuel filters are. They're down in here. But first of all, before I do anything, I want to make sure these caps, these hydraulic steering caps, are not leaking. Make sure they're not wet. Alright, if they're wet, which they're not, if they were wet, you could be losing hydraulic steering in your steering, and you don't want that. You don't want to be out there and that happens. But look where I gotta go to get to the, I gotta go right there to get to the fuel water separators. So we're gonna do that now. So the hardest part is gonna be filming it. It ain't so bad, but I'm trying to film it too. So here we go. Now it comes in a wrapper. These are the new ones. It comes in a wrapper, but I want to put a little 4C right here. Put 4C on here so I can get a good seal on there. So I don't know if you can see that, but got it pretty full. Now I gotta put it back. The hard. As you can see, they're in. Both of them are in. And here's a little advice. If you take your boats to the shop to get service and all, and you do these, put the today's date on the filters. That way, when you ask them to do something up at the shop, you know they didn't forget to do it. So that's the tip. All right, guys. Now these are the old filters. They're still full of gas. So now is a good time to check and see just what was in your gas. Is there water in the gas or not? It'll separate in this thing. And this is the right engine, this is the left engine. I'm gonna pour. We're gonna see. And you can use this gas if it ain't got water in it, but it shouldn't have water in it. But look at all the stuff coming out of it. That's what's in the gas that we buy. Now, it don't look bad. Look at all that stuff in it though. Now if you didn't have a filter, this inline filter right here, that would make it to the next filter, which are these guys right here. And they don't look like they got anything in them. So these guys are definitely doing their job. But look at all that in there. Wow. But we're gonna leave it for about an hour and see if it separates. If it separates, the gas will float and the water will sink, which I don't see that in none of this. So we look like we're good, but we'll come back in an hour and see. All right, it's been about 2 hours and no separation, so that means there's no water in our fuel tanks. So that's good. We've been getting non-ethanol gas ever since I've had this boat, and it's paying off. It looks like no water separation in the gas. We're done with the 100-hour service, but we still have maintenance required on the instrument. So how do you get rid of that? So let's see.
From the scrolling maintenance screen to the normal display screen. That's an important step that applies to either gauge type. Now press and hold the mode button for 4 seconds to activate the custom mode. Then press the set button once to switch to the resetting maintenance hours display. Press and hold the mode and set buttons simultaneously for 1 second to reset the elapsed time to 0 hours. Finally, press and hold the set button for 1 second to return to the normal display.
Alright, we're done with our 100-hour service. We've done the oil filter, the engine oil, the lower gear unit oil. We've done the inline fuel filter. We've done the water separators. And only thing left to do is my favorite part, and that's take it to the lake and test drive it on the lake. So see you at the lake. As we're down at the lake, and the motors are purring like a kitten. And I forgot to mention that I did have to grease the 3 points on with the lube, but I've already done that. So now we're on the lake, getting ready to test drive it. It cranked right up, no problem. The water pressure, everything looks good. So let's give it a try. Well guys, I'm not an expert mechanic or nothing like that, but I just want to say this: if you can change your oil in your truck, you can do this. This is not hard to do. It's just take your time. I had to do 2 of them. So you guys only got 1 engine. You got 50% less work to do than I did. So, all right guys, thank you for watching my video, and if you like this video, hit the like button. And until next time, I hope to see you on the water. We're going to go enjoy the rest of the day today. Pretty skies.